Greetings everyone, a warm welcome. Hey, thanks for joining me. This is your August Psy reading or global predictions for 2019. We're using these two decks of cards, the traditional tarot and the Psy deck, which is what I have based the readings on in the past. I've introduced the tarot as something a little bit new. So let us move the Psy aside and shuffle on the tarot and focus on August for 2019. So it's the eighth month of the year. Astrologically there's not quite so much going on. We have Jupiter going direct on the 11th of August, and then on the same day we actually have Uranus going retrograde. We have a full moon on the 15th of August. They're not super moons at the moment either, so technically they should, the moons shouldn't play too much of a role in everything that's going on. We have Virgo starting on the 23rd of August. We do have the Lionsgate portal day of the 8th of the 8th, which might be a nice powerful day to tap into. So the 8-8 numerology could be resonant. We'll see if an 8 turns up in the reading in some way, a number 8 card. So this is for August for 2019. Let's see what's in store globally. So we're calling on collective conscious energies to give this prediction its energy. Queen of Cups, quite a nice energy to start with. She's a loving, generous, positive card working from the emotions. So it could be an emotional month one way or another. So we could be talking about humans' emotions being in the forerunning of events or thoughts or activities or actions. Now emotions of course can mean heightened emotions, so people feeling more passionate about things one way or another. And sometimes this doesn't necessarily mean a good passion. You can take for example the Yellow Jacket Brigade rioters of Paris that had been on the streets every weekend for months and months endlessly, and now we have the surging of the Hong Kong rioters wanting their freedom and rights. So perhaps there is going to be more passion and people feeling awakened or passionate or desired about something that's close to their hearts, whether it's their religion, whether it's their belief systems, whether it's a political agenda, but emotions could be high on the list. So let us see what the next card is. Yeah, well, I think that matches quite well with what I've just been saying. So there we have the major arcana, and it's the Judgment card. So when a major arcana card would turn up in any reading, any reader will tell you that it gives a little bit more depth and intensity to the feeling of the whatever it is you're reading for. And since we are technically reading for the month of August, then this Judgment card bodes a little bit more weighty energy to the reading. A lot of people feel a bit frightened when they see the Judgment card. However, it's not one that's ever particularly disturbed me in any way. It's a card of awakening or awareness or enlightenment, or finding that you feel as though you need to change direction or go forth with new passion and emotion about something. Both of these cards hold a high degree of passion or emotional connectedness or interaction. So, but judging by the two that have turned up from the tarot deck, I am suspecting that emotions are playing a really, really big part. So perhaps humans are activating a lot of the energy that's going to be around for the month of August. Our energy patterns that we put out on the planet, because there's 7 billion of us, are really affecting the frequencies of everything else around us, including the planet itself and nature that lives on the planet alongside of us. The Judgment card makes me think of boats. We're in the water here. We see people very fraught or frightened. Possibly there will be something to do with boats in this particular time period. Another thing to denote up here is what appear to be flames coming out of the trumpet. So the flames could be resonant of intense heat or something intense, an intense situation. We could be looking at fires in areas like this, so mountains or hills where there is a lot of sun. Possibly this could be the northern hemisphere we're talking about. The Judgment card has quite a deep background religious feel to it as well, so there may be some religious implications that go on in this month of August as well. I'm not exactly sure what they could be, but they could be about passion or intensity or your belief systems or something along those lines. So with that in mind, let's see what's coming in store for the Psy cards. This will be interesting. So this is for August 2019 for the Psy cards. Let's see what comes out. What is collective conscious telling us all, and what energies are surrounding the planet? Oh, there's more people again, and we've started here with friendship. So, you know, technically if you were looking at these from an unbridled position, or the position of the origin of the cards, both this one, the Queen of Cups, she offers a friendship or a loving feeling, being a companion, being very supportive and very nurturing, just as these three fellows here are doing in the card. But the important part about this card is to look at what is on the left hand side, and if you look carefully you see another hand coming in carrying one of the beer containers. Now that is the unknown quantity, so there's a degree of uncertainty within the energies of these people. Something or someone is coming in to change the energies that the three of them share. So there's an unknown energy of people again on the planet, or agendas, or changing things up. So it feels as though there is change coming, and it could be how you view something, how you have been relating to something. This could even refer to political agendas, maybe new politicians coming in that we aren't even aware of yet, for political parties around the world, people putting their hands up or mucking up the current legislations or the parties the way they are. This could also be at the closer level. It might be very personal for some people. It could be that you feel things are changing within your own dynamic, your community, your family, your country, things along those lines. I often see these barrels in the background of alcohol, so sometimes alcohol can be indicated here, you know, like poisonings, and sometimes that happens up through places like Thailand, or through those eastern countries where they make their own alcohol, and sometimes it's a bit dangerous, sometimes through places like Russia or India as well. These can also be considered drums that can hold explosives, so sometimes this is indicating explosions again for the month. And we saw that with this fire up here, you know, even explosion and fire in the air. So I'm thinking, does that mean something explosive like a meteorite, or something passing through the sky with flaming tails? So possibly asteroids or meteorites or flaming space junk, or maybe even the sun putting out a solar, like a big solar flare. And of course we're in the solar grand minimum at the moment, so flares are very unusual technically. I noticed too that we have this card here which is the 2 X's, which is 20, and we have this card here which is the 2 1s, so we're getting this duplication of number energy. So perhaps the number 2 plays some sort of relevance in this 8th month coming. Gosh, you know, another card of love and harmony. We've got the chalice or the cup back in again, which is exactly where we started over here with the Queen of Cups. And she's called the Queen of Cups, and we've got the cups back again. So what is it telling us? What is this collective conscious message actually passing across to us about this chalice, or this amour, or love, or feelings, or emotions? Something is really strong on the planet in the month of August. Is it something that bonds us together through perhaps this judgment card, or realization, or awakening? Or these people are actually quite frightened, even though, as I said, I'm never frightened by the card. But these people are in fear or awe. Something has destabilized them, it's upset them. So this could be quite global. There could be some global reference that is making us feel some sort of connection or union or heart emotion or passion, something along those lines. I'm feeling it could be something quite big and something quite global that becomes like riding the wave, the crest of a wave, whatever it is that's coming. This union card can also sometimes represent massive rainfalls and rock slides, mudslides, because you see there are rocks and things in this waterfall. So this is very fast moving water that can be coming down valleys or ravines. So generally it's a land issue, so massive storms over land that create very rapid flowing waterways or mudslides or something along those lines as well. I think the work card had been out a couple of months earlier. It often reminds me of time, so time issues, like the time wave 0. We have our first number 8, which has come out for the 8th month. So the number 8, and this was a message I got beforehand, could be relevant in this 8th month. So whether it means 8 days in, or it's the 8th month, we know that. Does it refer to 8 people or a magnitude 8 earthquake, which would be pretty large? I do often get the feeling of time anomalies or time wave 0 issues or time speeding up or lost time. So something about time may be relevant in this month. Also, those look like engines, working parts of an engine. So sometimes this refers to big engines like boats, ships, trains, planes, and it can mean that there is a problem with these type of vessels or vehicles in this month of August. The cards are very, they've kind of like put themselves in a big jumble up there. They're all really stuck together, and normally I pattern them out a little bit better, but they're all on top of one another. So I'm getting the feeling again, does this all relate to something happening all at once, or is it quite quick, or are they all associated or all activated together? The body card has been out before. He seems to be here a little bit. He is often associated with virus-like things. And you know, we've seen the rise of the measles virus globally. This can be indicative of new viruses coming, such as flus or bird viruses or pig viruses or something along those lines that might affect animals. But also for humans, it can be about health positives, such as finding new vaccinations for various disorders or diseases. So that could be some really good news coming in the month of August. The number 6 was also mentioned, and we have the 6 card. So this might be quite indicative, this particular card. It can also indicate issues where there are mass events where lots of people lose the surface of their skin. Because we're seeing here just the muscles. So this can be things like crushings or fires or unfortunate events where people are quite damaged. We've got the boat, we have the sea again. We mentioned that earlier with the judgment card. So this definitely indicates boats or ships, sometimes up through the Middle Eastern type areas, up through the Gulfs. We've had a little bit of trouble with boats getting passage up through there because of the Iran issues, so this might perpetuate its energies a little bit more in August. It can be other things as well, but perhaps that flares up. This looks like somewhere up around the Middle East area to me. So sometimes this has to do with cruise liners as well, or other sailing or shipping vessels. This up here reminds me of the sun, so sometimes it does infer some sort of energy that comes from the sun that affects us one way or another. I did say there's a possibility of a flare or something along those lines, although it seems pretty high odds against that happening, but this card has represented that before. It can also indicate earthquakes based at sea, which can result in things like tsunami energy. The father figure is, he's pointing to the sky, and that often means something coming from the sky. That comes back to the Judgment card again, seeing something flaming in the sky. It could be even a flaming vessel, like a plane, which is not what I was just thinking back to MH370, the missing plane that they still haven't found. Maybe there's some information that comes to light about MH370, although I feel they were looking in the wrong place, and I believe it was actually shot down at the very beginning. Anyhow, there could be something along those lines, but he is looking upwards to the sky, and they are noticing the trajectory of something travelling across the sky. It can have to do with information to do with space, so new information, or things pertaining to us going to space, or our defences in space, and America's making a move on that at the moment. India have just sent, I think, a mission to go to the moon, so there could be much more information about moon landings or attempted space stations or travelling into space, and also our knowledge around planets, so new information coming to us. This also represents warring and fighting and hand-to-hand combat. The stranger represents most often hidden agenda. You could be referring to political type scenarios, and often through the countries that keep themselves most quiet or hide their activities. So we're thinking here along potential communist countries such as China, North Korea, any of the other smaller communist countries as well, and even places or countries like Russia as well. So they may be in the news, or they may put their might forward, or test ground, or test energy. One last card, because I think we've covered it. Let's have a look. Oh wow, back up into space, kind of where we started with the Judgment, and we're back with another double card, a 22. So we talked about we were initiating information or feelings or knowledge coming through from the space. That's what the Judgment card actually means, or coming through from a sort of a higher realm, and seeing things in our skies that may strike us with awe or wonder or fear, or changing our direction of thought, making us think twice, creating a change of systems or belief systems. And the stars is very similar in as much that this card is very much about unknown outcomes. It's a little bit like the Work card in as much that it's saying sometimes the wheels of time are the things that tick without us being able to change them or direct them. That, destiny can sometimes be pre-delivered, that there is a fate that is out there regardless. This one also represents knowledge pertaining to the stars, what I just talked about, traveling to the moon, exploration, technology, understanding, all of mapping out solar systems or mapping out new parts of the universe, any of those things it can represent, as well as the moon and the sun and planetary alignments as well. So it's an interesting reading. It started off quite intensely with the Judgment card and the Queen of Cups. We can feel the emotion and the passion surging through. Quite a few of the cards dictated that. There's definitely people involved, with their energies, with union, friendships, passion, emotions, desire, some hidden agendas there. There's another kind of suggestion around families with that one. But these ones over here are a little more I don't know, perhaps not meaningful, but a little more distant in their connection, as is the Judgment card. They seem to have a tie-in perhaps through the Judgment card. So that is the reading for August. I love it when you all include your own synopsis of what you believe the cards to be, or how you feel about certain messages, or what your own thoughts or feelings were as the cards came out. Because yeah, it's just a matter of a process really when you're divining or trying to figure out the messages that are coming through. So thanks for listening, everyone, and I wish you all a very safe and happy August. We're moving into the next seasonal change for the planet as we come into September. So be safe and be happy. Thanks, everyone. Namaste.